Hey everyone, welcome to another YouTube painting process video. As always, like the video and subscribe for more of this content. I was sitting around and I ended up watching Helluva, the YouTube cartoon series, and I figured it would be a very interesting challenge for me to tackle the character designs with my own style and learn something along the way. So I'm going to use this opportunity to list 3 of the most important things I look for when it comes to creating fan art of existing characters. The first tip that I can give you is you want to retain the essence of the character, even when you are going to change a few things. Now, this is assuming that you do want to retain the character and not for exceptional cases where you want to change the character entirely for story reasons. The best way to think about it is yes, every artist has their own style, and there's no way every artist will be able to replicate the original style of the characters. However, you do want to capture the essence, which is to capture the most important features of your character and avoid making really harsh changes that would otherwise damage the character. So, for instance, for this character, Verosika, it's probably not a big deal if I end up changing or removing her fur coat, even though I ended up adding it anyways. The fur coat, while it is a very distinguishable feature on her design, is not something that is remotely so important that it would completely change her if I were to remove it. One of the memes that I've seen really long ago is how cartoon characters have a closet of the same clothing. And while it is true that cartoon characters do want to stay within a certain wardrobe, costuming changes are ultimately very superficial compared to other things you could change. It's like when you're watching anime and there's that very special beach episode that seems to appear in most series, and the characters start wearing swimsuits. Ultimately, you are still able to recognize who is who despite the fact that they're wearing their swimsuits. However, if I were to, let's say, change Verosika's hair to deep blue or something like that, it would change the look a little bit beyond the superficial layer, and it'll start to look unlike the original character. Now, of course, you could have a episode where she dyes her hair deep blue or something, but given that we are creating fan art, we don't have the luxury of making those explanations. So really, my point is, if you're going to change anything with the design while still trying to be true to the original character, you want to make superficial changes at best. Second tip, you want to capture the attitude. As I said before, it's unlikely that you would be able to copy the exact proportions and the exact style of the original creators. For instance, I'm not going to be drawing the really cartoony features that you'll see in Hazbin Hotel and Helluva. However, when I am painting Verosika's face here, I still want to capture her seductiveness, her foxiness in my own way. A lot of artists fall into the trap of thinking just because they're drawing within their own style that they can just slap on the same proportions and features that they might use for the original characters onto a piece of fan art. You can change the proportions and features around based on what your style is, but you still need to be able to capture the original personality, the original attitude that the character might convey. If you don't, then even if you get all the colors right, the silhouette right, it'll still feel like something is wrong, And trust me, I've been to enough conventions. The rabid fans of different media will be able to distinguish that. And I find that fans tend to resonate with fan art that's closer to the essence of the original than something that feels really off, as if you didn't know any better and it looks like a mistake. And for my final tip, when you are drawing somebody else's character, be very wary about the silhouette. When you think of your favorite characters, a lot of times they're designed by a horde of people, especially at big studios like Disney. They would have gone through many iterations to ensure that a character looks correct. And one of the most fundamental parts would be the silhouette of the character. When it comes to animation, the silhouette is probably the most distinguishable feature that any character would have, because they're moving so quickly through many frames of animation that they have to be recognizable from a very fast standpoint. So when you are making fan art, the first thing that you should look for is to make sure that you capture the silhouette that the original creators intended, because chances are they would have gone through so many drafts in order to perfect the silhouette required for the project. So don't screw it up. For this particular piece, I was very wary about the silhouette of her hair particularly. Even though her proportions changed to cater towards my style, I still want the silhouette to sort of resemble what the original character had, and her hair was a very distinct part in creating the silhouette. So the proportions might have changed, but I am still looking to capture the curves of her hair as well as her horns and that sort of thing. If I don't, then even if I get everything else right, if the silhouette is incorrect, then people subconsciously feel like it's going to be a different character. Now, of course, there are exceptions. So, for instance, if you're looking to draw Verosika curled up into a ball, then there's not really much you can do about that. You're probably going to be changing the silhouette quite a bit. But for some neutral pose like this one, I am going to be comparing it to the original content and making sure that it at least resembles what they had in the original series. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the talk and the video as well. This was a pretty fun piece because it's not something I usually draw. Like, how many chances do I get to draw a character with really red pinkish skin, right? But it's these types of characters who are really far off from my original style that tends to really teach me quite a bit when it comes to art. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.